Hello people! Today we're doing a set that I am calling Make Like a Tree and Gold Leaf. Actually, my son came up with that name because I couldn't think of one. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to use some tapered squares, medium length. And we're going to start with Model 1's nude. And we're only going to need one coat of this. I just wanted this on here as a base. And today we're going to be working with alcohol ink. And isolated chrome. Now we're only going to need one coat of this, as I said, and then the alcohol ink will be going to make our base color basically on top of this. Okay, then we're going to cure those. And I'm using Full Beauty alcohol ink. I've got a brown, orange, and yellow. Those are the color numbers, and off we go. Now I'm going to just start with the thumbnail. I'm just going to start slapping this on here until I end up with something I'm happy with. Now the orange one, it doesn't look all that orange when you're first putting it on. It seems like it kind of gets orangier as it goes later. And then some yellow. And I'm just going to keep layering these on here until I get a look that I'm happy with. And once I get a look that I like, then I know what I need to do for the rest of them, and I will do the whole rest of them together as one on the rack. Usually when I'm just doing the first one and I'm kind of just playing around with it, I'm not fully sure what I want the background to look like. I'm just going to mess with it till I get something I like. And I'm just switching back and forth between the three different colors at this point. And as you'll notice, I have now added a paper towel underneath here because it was making a big mess all over my desk. I forgot when I'm slopping it on just randomly like that how messy I can get. Okay, I think I'm happy with that now. And I am. So we are moving on. The rest of these we're going to just all do real quick. Now that I know what I'm looking for, we're just going to go down the line here and we're just going to slap all these on real fast. And anybody who has not worked with alcohol ink before or you're new to nail art, you do not need to cure it. It's just going to dry on its own. What happens is the alcohol will evaporate out of there, leaving your pigment behind. If you don't like what you have on there, you can just wipe it off with some alcohol. It'll come right off. But I'm just going to keep doing what I did with the thumb. Since I know what I'm looking for, I can do this part much faster now. You have to kind of get a thick layer of the orangey one on there for the orange to show up. I don't know what the deal is. It must not have that much pigment in it. And then I'm going to do the yellow a bit more sparingly because it's really bright. And the yellow showed up really nicely, and it seems to have a lot of pigment. Sorry for my hand crossing over. I don't know why I don't put my bottles of stuff on the other side where I can reach them without crossing over, other than the fact that there's not a lot of room on that side of my little area right there. Sometimes I like to do alcohol ink backgrounds because it gives you a kind of a muted background. I like to call it it looks like the muted background you get when you're taking school pictures or something like that. Now sometimes you want to leave those harsher lines, sometimes you don't. Like I didn't really want that on mine, so I'm just going to wipe them over with another layer of whatever color this is. Looks like it's orange. And then that will tone down or smooth out those really harsh lines that are there. Excuse me. And once I'm done with that, we're going to set those aside to dry. It will take about a minute, maybe not even that long. It probably went quicker because we're back to having 90-degree weather this week. I'm so disappointed. Okay, now once those are dry, I'm going to go over them with top coat and I'm going to matte these. You want to make sure you top coat this before you do anything else, especially since we're going to do isolated chrome. We need to protect this finished background stuff now. Because if you don't, and you have to wipe over that, if you have to wipe off the next part, if you make a mistake and you had to wipe it off and you didn't top coat, you're going to end up wiping off all that alcohol ink, and then you have to start over. Okay, those are going to go in for curing in a second. Okay, there they go. Now we got them back out. Kind of looks like a wood grain too, now I'm looking at it. Alright, now I'm taking some acetone, and I am going to wipe down all these nails really well to make sure there's no tacky stuff anywhere on there. Now, you could do, sometimes I used to do them without alcohol, but I find that acetone works better at getting all of the tackiness off. Alcohol, sometimes you miss a little. And this is going to keep our chrome from sticking to the background where we don't want it. Most of the time, this works really well for that. Just make sure you give them a really good wipe down. Last one. I think that's the last one. Okay, moving on. We're going to be using black gel paint, striper brush, and then we're going to go and paint our leaf fronds on here, I'm starting with the stem, and then I'm going to start with the bigger leaves. And I am just going to, it's been a while since I've painted leaves, so I had to get my groove back on this. This first one took me a bit longer than I'm used to because I haven't done them in a while. Also, that one really shouldn't have been touching the stem. They need to be like this one where they're not touching the stem yet, because we got to go back and make a little teensy tiny piece of stem from the leaf to the main branch stem. I'm going to drag out some points on the end of them. I guess I don't have a lot to talk about today, guys. We're doing a craft show this weekend. which we haven't done one in quite some time. Actually, I think it's been about a year since we've been to one, so hopefully I sell a bunch of stuff because I could really use the money. Alright, I think now we're going to go in and add the little easy little stem from the leaf to the branch. Just the super thinnest little line. Sorry. My asthma's been bad the last few days. Okay, then we're going to do another leaf frond, but a different style. I wanted one that was kind of like a fern frond, although these little leafy bits on here did not come out super fern looking, but we got the gist of, well, that one's going to have to go because it's too close. Okay, and I'm going to use my folded over wipe with alcohol. And I like to fold them in fours because I get that nice firm corner there for wiping stuff off. And that's a little too much paint on the brush. Okay. And we're going to go in and finish putting the leaves on here. Don't stress out over this stuff too much if you're doing these. They're plants. No two plants are going to look exactly the same. No two leaves are going to be exactly the same. So don't stress out if you don't have a super uniform look. Okay, that is what we're going to do with that. And then we're going to set that aside. Move on to the rest of them. I'm going to have one of the normal, like consider normal leaf one, and one of the fern frond ones on each nail. Okay, I have sped this up now, and I'm going to show you this one more nail, and then after that I'll do the rest off camera. The rest of the nails are all going to be the same. Basically, you're just putting them in different spots on each one. Or you don't have to. You can put them in the same place so they're all exactly the same if you want to do that. I like to do mine different. And I did not do an accent nail for these, so they're all just going to be basically the same. Alright, I'm going to add our little stems. Okay, and the fern frond. I'm kind of just dabbing most of these on using the striper brush shape as my leaf. Okay, and as I said, the rest I'll do off camera. And now we're going to go in with the dotting tool. And I'm just going to make some random dots here and there just to fill up some of the negative space. And the dots are going to be, obviously, they're going to get chromed as well as the leaves. I started slowing down a little bit when I was putting the dots on, because at the beginning I was just plopping them on real fast, and I got a couple of little drags, you know, when you lift it up and there's still polish there and it makes a little tail kind of. So I had to slow down and be a little more careful as I'm doing my dotting, but those were not quite dark enough. And that one too. Okay, once I'm happy, this whole rack is going to go in for curing. And in we go. Okay, now we're ready for the chrome. I'm going to be using an orange and a gold. Okay, we just need the tiniest little bit, and I'm going to just brush it over just where the leaves are, just gently. You don't have to rub it in real hard. And we're also going to dot it on some of the dots. Just make sure you've got all the black covered. Then I'm going to flip over my applicator, get the orange one, and the orange is going to go on the ferny looking ones. Now mind, you don't need a whole lot of chrome powder. A little goes a very long way. Okay, then we're going to get a soft brush and just brush off any loose chrome, excess chrome. And we should have a nice isolated chrome leaves that have no chrome on the background. And for the most part, we do. Okay, I don't know what that was, but I'm going to show you one more, and then I'm going to do the rest off camera. We're just doing the same exact thing we did on the other one. Okay, we're going to clean it off. And there we have it. The rest I'm going to do off camera, I think. Or did I? Maybe not. I guess I left the rest in here. Okay. Well, you're going to see me do the rest of this chroming, I guess. I thought I took some of that out, but maybe not. Well, clearly not, because you're watching it. Well, like I said, you don't need a whole lot of the chrome on your tool either. It goes a long, long way. Now on some of these, there was a couple of these that I did get a teeny tiny bit sticking to the background. Not enough to, it doesn't really show up on camera that much. But it was just enough that I could see some little sparkly bits in the background in places I didn't want it. So we will give them another wipe down towards the end of this here. And I'm not pressing very hard onto these either, just because I don't want it pressing into the background. I want to try to avoid touching the background with the applicator as much as possible. So if you're just gliding it over the top of those raised bits where you've got the black, that should be enough for it to get on the sticky, tacky part of the black paint, but not the background. So you can see on this one near the top, I can see some stuff where it's stuck on the top part. But like I said, we're going to deal with that in a bit. Well, now you get a good view of my gloved hand. When I'm doing isolated chrome, I like to use these applicators to put it on. If I was doing a full nail that was going to be full chrome and I wanted it to be mirror finished, then I would be using my finger to rub it in. I don't know why, but I just seem to have a lot better luck doing it that way. You see near the bottom of there's some that is stuck on there. So very carefully, since that's not top coated yet, we're going to have to wipe off that excess without getting off any of the... Okay, so I've done the rest now. Here we go. There's where we are. Now, we're going to take top coat. I'm using tempered top coat. You can use whichever top coat you want. I wanted these to stay shiny chrome. So now we have to paint over all of the chrome again with top coat. I know you're thinking, well, dang it, I just painted all these leaves. It took me forever. Now I got to paint them again. Trust me, when you're doing this part, this goes much faster than the initial painting of them. The main thing is you need to make sure you've coated all the chrome with the top coat and try not to get it on the background where we want it to stay matte. Now, if you wanted these nails to be fully gloss, then you could just put your top coat over the whole nail and be done. Call it a day. But I wanted a matte background with the chrome, still chromy. So that's why we're doing it. This is the only way you can get this like this. For a long time, I wanted to have a set of matte black nails with shiny design on top in black, but shiny black. And I just have been avoiding doing it for the longest time because I did not want to have to paint over. I wanted like a filigree design on the top, and I would have had to paint over every little bit of that with clear top coat. So I have never done it yet because I've just been avoiding it, but I'm thinking I might do that at some point soon. Okay, now I've done that on all of them. They're all been cured now. So now I'm going to take an alcohol on my wipe, and I'm going to give them all a good wipe down. Now that they've been cured with that top coat, the chrome will be protected, and this will clean off any bits of chrome that may still be on the background that stuck where we didn't want them. Almost there. One more. Okay, and there we are. All done. That is it. I think they turned out pretty good. If you guys like them, I'd appreciate a like. It really helps me out. And I upload new tutorials every Saturday. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Okay, I will see you guys next time. I don't know. Oh, next time I'm on my own nails, so we'll be having that. That's it. Have a good week. Bye-bye.